InDesign beginner to advanced course. In this lesson, we want to learn how to design a corporate or business flyer, and it's very simple. So without much time wasted, let's get started. Now we want to create a new document. Simple, you can just press Ctrl N for new document, and then we want the page size to be A4. You can choose letter the same size, but there's a difference, but let's stick to A4 with this lesson. We want the margins to be 0.75 inches on all sides. We don't need any column. We want our blade to be 0.125 inches on all sides. Then let's turn off facing pages. Now let's hit OK. With this, you can add guys or even the column, which is optional. So margins or columns you can add, but it is optional. Okay. And based on how you always, I say that based on how you see the design, then there's no need. If you think you have to add columns, if you think you don't have to add, it is not by force. Okay, because it might be needed or it may not be needed. That's one thing you have to take note. Okay, so now let's go ahead and then let's hit OK. So we want to create our first shape, and before that we have to create our backgrounds where we put the shape. So we want this layer to be named as our background. Test. Since this, I've told you that always is a template, we are creating this as a template in order for us to maybe sell them. If that's what we want, you can just do that. Now let's go ahead and add our colors. Okay, so I'll come to my swatches, come over here, and then new color swatch, and then I want to do it in CMYK. So I want here to be 100. And I want this to be 82. I want the next one to be 46. And also I want this to be 49. Let me hit OK. I'll go ahead and add a new color swatch. I'll be using two colors in this, plus the paper. I have to make this 97, and then I also make this 73, 16 and 2. I want to make this 2, and I'll hit OK. So now I've got my two colors that I'll be using. First, I want to use this color. Now, I want to once again pick my rectangular tool and draw this shape. Shift X to switch the color. I want the shape to pick this color. Okay. Now I want to play around with the size of the shape. So I want this to be 5.3628. I want the height. I want the size of the height to be 4.0261. And I'll hit enter. Now, one thing that we're coming to do is we want to make sure that you create a shape, first shape. Okay, so we want to create a shape that we will add our text to. Okay, so now, and we want to make some part rounded and the other part not rounded. So I want to first of all click over here on the yellow, over here, as you can see over here. I want to click on the yellow, and now I want to hold shift and then drag this corner to the right to make the shape this way. I also want to come here and then hold shift and then also drag it to the left this way. Now I want to zoom out. Now I want to bring it somewhere here. So before that, let me check if this the size that where I want it to be. So I have the S and Y axis, which you can just do it this way to place it at the spot that you want, or still you can shift it. So I want to type in my X, so 0.139 inches, and I want my Y axis to be 0.8633 inches, and it will be at the spot that I want it to be. Now we also want to create the shape for our image where we add our image. So I'll go ahead and then duplicate this, hold Alt and then duplicate it this way, and then I'll have my shift where I can hold it to 10:8. Also have this one this way. I want to change the color so that I can apply the changes very well to it. Now please pay attention and make changes to the height and width. I want this to be 4.332 inches, and then I want my height to be 4.6764 inches. Let me hit on my enter. Now I still have the convert directional point to which I can make some changes to the shape that I have over here, which is necessary when you think that you want to make some changes to your shape. Just click on it and then you can apply the changes to the shape that you want. So when you think that you have a shape which is the one that you want, you can just continue. Now I want to bring in my image. So with this, make sure it is selected, go to file, then place, then you go into our size files. So inDesign size file, and then go into your what we call the corporate business flyer, and then right click on this and then click on open to bring in your image. You have the what we call object. Okay, so let's see. Let's wait a little bit for the original tool to live there. So let's come to our object, then we use transform, object transform to rotate. So you can rotate according to this, any of them. And what I love to do is that, as usual, I will hold my shape. So you can use the transform over there to use it and then check if you have the right proportion. Now I want to control the fitting, then fill frame proportionally. Okay, it's good for me. Now I want to bring in another shape. So I'm creating all this in my background layer. So if it has been created in your text layer, you have to make sure that you drag all into your background layer. If not, and you share this or sell this template to someone, then it means you are giving the person a hell of a job, or the person may not know what to do. I would control shift and I want to send this to the back. Okay, so I want to create and bring my another shape and then create it this way, and then control S, shift X to swap the color, and you have the wave. You can apply the changes to it. I'm just typing it in because I want to be fast with what we are doing at the moment. 125, and I want this to be 1.0431. That's it, enter. So I'll click on my yellow here, and I want to drag the size like this. I can place it anywhere I want. So if this is where I want it to be, I just place it there. I can change the color to this. Now I want to create a shape this way. I want the color to be this. Now, and what I want to do is that I want to bring this shape to this side, and then I want to send it back this way. I say W to see what we are doing. Now I have my background ready. Now I can go ahead and then work in my text tool. So I can lock the background layer. Then I'll come and work in the text. So the first text that I want to bring in is I want to bring in my digital creative business. Okay, Control A to select all, and I want to make the size 39 point. Hit enter. Now I want to make the leading 43, and also I want to make sure that I add some tracking to it. Okay, so let's do away with the tracking at the moment, and then I want to use Montserrat. So I'm having Montserrat alternative and Montserrat, so I'll use Montserrat. All these tests will be available for you to choose in your or use it in your exercise files. So I'll use Montserrat bold, and there I go. Now I want to play with this test. Now I'll send it over here, right to the margin. I'll go ahead and change the color to paper. Okay, we are good to go. I also have the to bring in another test. Now, okay, let's close this one. Let's not add the test to this. Let's create a different test frame. Okay. Now let's see. Now I want to add some text to it. Then fill with placeholder text. Control A. I want to add a Arial. Arial italic. Alright, please okay for me. me change the color to paper. And bring it downwards a little bit. We come over here, bring the shape to this side. Alright, so gradually we're getting somewhere. So let's see what we've done so far. If you think that the is too deep for you, and you can let's use narrow italic. You can still play around with the text. Now let's go ahead and bring in our shapes file. Now please, so I use in this I was using I used Illustrator to place in the text whilst when I was working with it, when I was designing it at first, but I decided to, so I've saved it for you, and you can just bring it in without any hassle. So let's put this shape over here. Okay, now let's pick our text tool. We want to bring in some text. Let's work on the pasteboard. What we want to do is that we want to bring in what we call the call for assistant. Control to select all, and let me break it. Then I want to add some number to it. Now I want to make this as usual. Montserrat is the font that we'll be using. I want to use Montserrat thing for this one. Okay, and then with this one I want to use Montserrat bold. Now let me pick it and bring it here. Select all. Now I want to change the color to paper. Sit over here. Now let's bring it upwards. Let's see what we've done. We still have the chance of adding some leading to it, and then if you feel like it is too small for us, you can of course add some of the size to it. So let's see this one. So we make this one 17 points. Now let's go ahead and work on the rest. Now let's add our logo. I want to create this shape. We want to make this stroke like 4 points is okay. Now let's change the stroke color to white. Let's reduce the size. Okay, let's go ahead and add the name of our company. So we see W. So So you say brand name. Now slogan here. So let's select the brand name first. Let's see what we can do here. So now with this thing, we want to add something random where the person who will buy it from you can simply change it. Okay, that's why we say something like brand name, which will be the company name, and then the slogan will also come there. So I want this to be Montserrat. Make it 17 points. I want this to be Montserrat 10, and also 17 points. And now I can add some tracking to it. Take it from here to this place. Control A and change the color to paper. Let me hit W to see, and then place it where at the spot that I want. Okay, so when I feel that it is okay, I can go ahead and then work on the others. So I want to start by adding another text over here. I actually want the color to be this. Okay, so innovative solution. Control A to select all. So I'll be using Montserrat throughout. I want this to be Montserrat bold, and I want to make the point 21 points. I hit enter. I'll do it this way, and I want to add some text to it. So let's see. Now right click and fill with placeholder text, and then I want to select this one, and then I want it to be Montserrat regular. Okay, I want it to be 10 points. Right click and then fill with placeholder text. Okay, so let me go ahead and delete some from it. I'll make sure that I have my hyphenation unchecked. You don't need hyphenation in this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and select this. I'll add some leading to it, and then so let's see, 15 points. Select this. Now let me zoom out. I can try and play around with the two. Then I'll select this again. Also play around with it. Now let's hit W to preview. This is what we have. So I want to duplicate this. So you hold Alt and duplicate it over here. Now I want this to be white choosers. Okay, leave it this way. Now we also have some things that we have to do and bring it upwards. And now as you can see from this, as you can see from the one that I've created, I have some things that I added, so definitely we want to add it to it. So let's drag this across. Now let's create the shape over here. Let's go into our background and then let's create a shape so that we know what we are doing next. A shape that will be down over here. Now with this you can also control the size. So the size that I want, I can come and control it over here. I want this to be 8.2861. I also want the height to be 1.1783. And then when you look at this, you can see that there's a little bit of connect over here. So let me first of all change the color, and now come and click here and then add some color, a little. There we go. So let's go back to select this, drag it upwards. So now I want to go here, file, place, and I want to place in this. Okay, let's drag it this way and then you place it. You want to go ahead and then reduce the size. Now let's bring it here. So you want to add these things. So you make sure that you leave it at a spot that you think the negative space and the positive space is okay. Okay, so let's see what we got so far. Now, also I've told you that the icons, you should make sure you work in the icons, you work with it from the Adobe Illustrator. You don't want to find any problems with the icons, then you have to use Adobe Illustrator to always place the icons so that you can change the colors. But if you use PNG format, definitely it will be impossible for you to change the format. I've already taught you how to do that. So you duplicate it to this side. So when you just duplicate it to this side, it is easy for you to so you hold shift alt and duplicate it to this side, and then you add more to it by using the top arrow, 1 2 3. Okay, and release it. So there has to be some spacing between it. So if you are not seeing some spaces, then it means there are some words that you have to do. I told you, if you think that the size is too small for you, you can possibly change them. So let's see over here. Let's create this. and then we want to use Montserrat for it. Then let's use regular. Let's try and make the points like 9 points. And then we want to fill with placeholder text. Okay, so there you go. Now I only want let's see, let's change the color to this one. Don't need this many text, so I'm gonna delete this. In this somewhere here. And then I'm go ahead and duplicate this. Sorry for that. And I'll release it, and there I go. Can still play with it. Now I want to hit W, and then you can still decide to maybe drag this shape somewhere this. If you think that they are going to be in your way. Now let's go to file and then place in our new icon. So our first icon is going to be this. So I left out one icon, but I'll make sure to add it into the size file so that you see the icons that you are supposed to bring in. I left it out. I didn't bring it in your size files, but if you look at this design, you can see this icon. So let me just copy it. Okay, so it will be available in your size files. Let's click and then paste. Okay, so we are supposed to work in the image our icons layer now. Paste it in, drag it over here, and then you just place it at the place you think that it will be okay for you. Okay, so now let's work on this shape. I think this size is okay for me, so I want to bring in my text too. Now I want to say marketing strategy. Now I want to use the Montserrat. I want to use Montserrat semi-bold, and then I want to use the 12 point, and then I'll leave it this way. Okay, so I'll add some sap to it. I'll bring this here to align with this. Right click and then fill the place with that text. Let me add some hidden to it. Okay, so it is red, it means I still have some text, so I'll just click on it and delete it. I'll go ahead and then bring in my other, place in my other icons. So I want to place in this. Let me select the two. I have to make sure I change the color to this before duplicating it. If not, you have to go back and then change the same time. But because of this lesson, I don't want to go back and change it again. So now I still have the chance. I've told you to, in order for you to know that everything is on the right spot, you have to make sure to use your alignment. Okay, so for instance, I can select these three with this. I'll hold shift and then click here. So let's see, and then click here again. Now I'll come to my properties, then I'll check my alignment and I'll do it this way then, so that it will all be aligned. Okay, I also have the distribution, which I can also control the distribution as I want. Okay, as you saw over there. So you have to make sure that things align when working with this and with these two too. You can select them, clicking shift to select the three. Now let's go ahead and add our contact info to this side. So I want to add it, my contact info. So first I'll bring this over here. And I'll do this way. I want the through paper. Get in Control A. I want to use the Montserrat extra bold. And I want the size to be 19 points. Now I want to pick my stroke and add some stroke to it. So I want it to be 10. I want it to be 2 points. So I'll add this to the paper and hit here. So there we have it. And now the rest is that I have to do is just add my contact info. I just go ahead and duplicate this, copy it, okay, because I don't want to create it again because of time. So all you need to know is I just used Montserrat tin, Montserrat tin. I use Montserrat tin, and then I used 9 points, Montserrat tin 9 points, and then the tracking or the leading is 17. The leading is 17 Montserrat tin, and that's all. I didn't add anything else. Okay, so you add your address, email, and the phone number. Use Montserrat tin, and I have this file available for you to also look on it. So this is how to create what we call a corporate or business flyer. Corporate or business flyer. Make sure as always you work from Illustrator in order for you to be able to play around with the colors and the stroke sizes and the rest. Okay, so this is how to create a corporate or business flyer. Thank you for joining this lesson. Bye bye.